And we've got all the right in the world on our side. And there ain't no reason to be afraid. And there ain't no reason to not take the challenge dead on. Because I'm going to tell you who we come from, folks. We don't come from some weak, jellyback, spineless people. That's not who we come from. None of us. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what nation your folks hail from, how much money you got. We all share the same name. We are Americans. And at Bunker Hill, there was Americans. And at Fredericksburg and Gettysburg, there was Americans. And at Iwo Jima, raising that flag on Suribachi, it was Americans. And at Pork Chop Hill, there was Americans. Quezon, there was Americans. And on 9/11, there was Americans who ran towards those burning buildings. That is who you share your heritage with. You do not share your heritage with a weak and ineffective people who cower at the sight of trouble. You share your heritage with a strong and brave people who are determined to hold on to their freedom and for the freedom of future generations. Guys, it's time for us to stand up and be that generation. It's time for us to stand strong and proud and remember who we are. That we are Americans. And as long as we stand as the vanguard of freedom in this nation, freedom will survive people. Not only survive, it will thrive. So guys, it's time to put on our packs. It's time to fix those bayonets. It's time to get ready. We got a fight on our hands. And our fight is not for us, for all those generations that's going to come behind us. Let's save America, folks.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay, folks, here we go with another program talking about, well, all the crap that we've got to deal with, culture, race, American politics. And I think you can agree that kind of all hell is breaking loose in Minneapolis. Pardon my voice, it hasn't come back yet. So now we'll just have to talk about crap with my smooth jazz radio voice. Do me a favor, folks. Lift a finger. Share this program, please. Share it across multiple platforms because we're going to cover something extremely important that you need to understand how it works. And that's the Insurrection Act. And what are the three triggers? What are the main triggers that trigger the Insurrection Act? Today's program's brought to you by the fine folks at Goldco. Here's what I'm asking you to do. Please go to jovanlovesgold.com with my fine partners at Goldco and feed your brain. Request your free gold and silver kit today because now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver, folks. Quit putting it off. Crap's coming. It's here, but I'm telling you, the big crap's coming. Feed your brain. jovanlovesgold.com. Understand what's going on. And don't take this too lightly, folks. You know, it's the time of year. Planning matters of how you're going to get through the year. I'm reminding you of our bestseller, Food Forest Bible, How to Create a Food Forest, Sustainable, Self-Managing Natural Food Production for Self-Sufficiency and Food Security. Don't be conned by the people that tried to clone the look and the feel. It's not the book. Make sure it's got my name on it, my signature. Now's the time to plant it. So when you plant it, it can continue to feed you. But I'm telling you, food's something you're going to have to worry about, folks. You think COVID was bad. If some of this gets out of control, you're going to find out just how skilled you are at surviving. While doing book research the other day for a new book, you know, we were the healthiest, the thinnest, the least medicated in the 1950s. It all coincided with we still ate 90% out of our garden and had none of the additives. From there, boom, hell in a handbasket when we get into the 60s. We got to get back to the basics because the writing on the wall is they're attempting to destroy our society. And one of the ways that they clamp society down is by food supply, by control. Okay, this will be a little bit of a tough program, but you have to understand how the Insurrection Act works. What can or cannot be done. Why, how, what triggers it. Let's get started. But first, I'll give you a peek at the future if we don't pay attention.
I didn't think this place would ever look like this. From this far away, it already feels wrong. This was the main entrance, I guess. Everything's still here, just left. All this furniture was still set up, like they expected to come back but never did.
These desks were still in use, papers everywhere. It feels like they just stopped coming in one day.
This staircase was still carpeted. You could tell people walked this every day until they didn't.
This was someone's room where they actually lived. Feels wrong seeing it like this.
I'm heading out now. Places like this, they don't feel abandoned. They feel forgotten.
Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now.
Warning. The following program has been rated Dilligaff and is intended for open-minded audiences. If the truth offends you, or if you are allergic to focused intensity, intellectual athleticism, or the occasional F-bomb or even irreverent humor, please switch off now. If your delicate sensibilities need to be worried about or addressed, might we recommend the Underwater Basket Weaving channel to you? Otherwise, sit back, enjoy the wisdom, insight, and wicked sense of humor.
Cut the crap. How many times a day do you want to say that to politicians? The elite, the loony liberals, the fake news media, and the gender-confused, emotional socialist snowflake crowd. Cut the crap is your secret weapon for fighting for our freedoms and our great republic. It all begins with a massive mental enema, freeing you from the toxic news and politically correct views, which constipate your consciousness with stinking thinking. Your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. He's known for calling out politicians and telling them to cut the crap. You've seen him on virtually every television network and listened to him on Coast to Coast Radio. And now he's here to help you learn to fight for America. Culture, race, and American politics. They all have one thing in common. They all need to cut the crap. Now, here's your host, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer.
Okay, folks, the crap we're going to talk about today is what's going on in Minneapolis and how it relates to the Insurrection Act. And you need to understand the 3 main triggers. Don't worry, my voice is recovering. It'll get back with me soon. One of the things that concerns me about what's going on in Minneapolis is when you look behind the scenes and you look at the video, you're finding out these people that are protesting in churches and disrupting stuff are city officials, school board members, councilmen and women, mayors, disrupting their own city. That kind of tells you this is all done from the inside. So in order for you to understand how the Insurrection Act is triggered, I need to take you to the streets. First, let me just show you a few pieces of what went on and what's been going on so you get a good lay of the land, and then we'll talk about the Insurrection Act.
Go the fuck home! Get the fuck out of here! We hate you! Fucking leave!
They're protesting ICE agents in a neighborhood. That's who's in the truck.
Go the fuck home! Get the fuck out of here! We hate you! Fucking leave! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of here! Fucking leave! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! We hate you! We hate you! We hate you! Nice try, asshole! He just pepper sprayed me! He pepper sprayed my hair, but he pepper sprayed me. I turned around.
Move! Keep moving! Keep moving! Gonna get home.
So they have the road shut down right now. What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get down to Cedar.
No police inside.
No police
They're
here?
doing this.
Oh my God.
What is your message to the people that are trying to shut down the road?
Man, you're messing around with everybody's day of life. Everybody's day of life, not just yours, everybody.
People need to fucking show up with guns to face you guys!
So yeah, the guy in the car is just trying to get home. All the streets are blocked. This guy is not yelling at the protesters. He's yelling at ICE.
People need to fucking show up with guns to face you guys! It's fucking time for an armed resistance!
Telling people to get their guns to stop them, get in the streets and shoot these guys, meaning ICE.
People need to fucking show up with guns to face you guys! It's fucking time for an armed resistance against the United States of America!
Take your mask off!
This is done! We're done! You're fucking murderers! You shot a woman in a wheelchair!
Mask off, bitch boy!
We need to fucking come back with fucking weapons! Go to the gun store, get a gun, learn how to use it, and fucking face you guys man to man!
This next video is during the evening. They got on the streets. They found out where the ICE and FBI vehicles were, and so they decided to rob them.
Almost there.
Just so you understand what's going on, that's an armory. It's built into the back of the vehicle to store the FBI's weapons. That's what they're breaking into.
Almost there.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
There's some bullets.
Hey, that's a 47.
I don't know. Ain't no way.
Tourniquet there. Did he get...
Okay.
Hey, don't film that.
He's out running.
No, thank you.
No. Oh, shit.
this way.
Eventually, you know, if it's for a punch up, that's where I draw the line.
What a mess, right? All of them now instant felons. Here's the mayor. Remember, he's the one that got inaugurated. I guess he got inaugurated on the Quran and danced under the Somali flag.
Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
Well, good thing you have all that extra daycare with space for students.
And something else, Aisha, that we're seeing is that rank and file of many of the area police departments, including Minneapolis Police Department. Many of their rank and file police officers are coming up to our agents on the ground saying, thank you for what you're doing. We support you 100%. That's in direct opposition to, say, a Mayor Fry calling for cops to fight federal agents. So we've got the support of the rank and file and the American public. This mission is going to continue.
So they want to help. I mean, they're coming up to you and telling you that they actually do want to help, but their hands are tied.
Exactly. We've seen this in California and Los Angeles. We saw this with Chicago rank and file police officers. And guess what? We're seeing it in Minneapolis also. And to any of those Minneapolis police officers, and I'm hearing this is happening, that want to join the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE, we welcome you with open arms. We support you. We support you making American cities like Minneapolis a safer place. So I'd be happy to meet personally with those officers that might be wanting to join a law enforcement agency that supports them.
You may be noticing a trend that these cities get a few Muslim council people, then maybe a mayor, then a rep, then a senator, and then the state's ball. That's the formula you saw in Minneapolis. It's going on in many places, and New York's following. Here's probably the most egregious thing. Don Lemon from CNN, embedded within a group of people, quote unquote, protesting. And the way they did it is they barged into a church service. Many of these people were city employees that were barging in, interrupting a church service. I'm going to show you two parts. I'm going to show you the actual event. Then I'm going to show you a dialogue with a parishioner with Mr. Lemon before we discuss this.
The Lord is safe in your house. The space you want to get your house in order. That is correct.
Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your Somali and Latino communities? I'm not going to comment. You have no comment, exactly. You... Renee Good! Renee Good!
We have a duty to win. We must love and support one another.
All these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit as a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus would dine with immigrants. Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinners. You're pretending to be Christians. But we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy life while people are starving. Shame. Out now. Out now. Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis. Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice. He wears a suit and tie and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not? Why are you not going down to Whipple and joining us in protest against this inhumanity? You claim to be a Christian. Act like one.
My understanding of the fellow agitating is he's given up his entire life in order to walk in the footprint of Jesus. He gave up all his belongings, his home. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he gets paid $175,000 a year to do that, as I understand it, to call out people for their comfy jobs. Here's a follow-up conversation. And Don Lemon, the old bloke from CNN, was in the middle of it.
These people have come into our house and they've interrupted our worship. This is a house of peace, and we try to proclaim that. And this stirs division and rancor. And in the end, it's not helpful. Ultimately, I believe they've lost. They've emptied a house of worship. Everybody's gone home. Their point has been proven worthless. And so, in the end, I think they lose. But more importantly, if I was to break into any of their houses uninvited, cause derision and upset according to their values, I would be kicked out ultimately. It's not a good way. I feel violated. I feel interrupted. I feel angry.
May I ask you something? When you were saying if you had showed up at their house, they're saying that people are showing up at houses where they're citizens without due process and breaking and entering the house. One we saw, I've been watching from New York, with a battering ram into someone's private property, and there's no recourse. There's no, you understand what I'm saying?
This is all part of a much larger dialogue, in my opinion. On one side are people who watched a previous administration bring 12 million people in over the course of 4 years, and many of them undocumented, many of them criminals, etc. This is another administration's corrective. Now, whether you agree with the policies or procedures, I think I could actually be sympathetic to some of the things where there have been challenges to action and decency. At the same time, these are what are called targeted interventions by ICE to keep the American people safe.
If I respectfully may interject here, I've been out reporting on a lot of these, and they're not targeted. There are no warrants signed by a judge, let me finish. And they're American citizens, many of them. Most of the people that they detain don't have criminal convictions or criminal records.
I'm not going to get into the weeds.
But you should know that, though. Don't you think that's part of it?
Yes, and I could also show you many opposing sides where we're also picking up the very criminals that have put Americans in danger. And I'm not saying it's pretty. I'm not saying it's not messy. I'm not saying it couldn't be better. I'm saying this is a part of a much larger dialogue in which one administration caused a great deal of chaos and havoc and danger for American citizens, and another is trying to correct that.
Do you believe that? Why honestly, let me talk to you just on the facts.
A journalist.
Yes, I am. I want to give you the facts.
No.
Did you know that undocumented people and immigrants commit far less crime than American citizens?
We're done here. We're done here.
Then natural-born Americans. You won't listen.
If you could ask,
I'm giving you the facts. It is.
Give me facts. I would have a conversation.
But I can respond to you.
No.
Did Jesus stand with the oppressed?
Because he doesn't want to listen to facts. That's the interesting thing about this is that they won't listen to facts.
No.
You won't because
when you pose as a journalist,
I am a journalist. Journalists give facts.
And then you start correcting me with facts, and don't have.
You shouldn't hear the facts.
Of course, I
most
should hear
of the people
facts.
who are picked up
but will you
not
give me the facts on both sides?
That is the facts on both sides. Most of the people who are picked up and are detained are not convicted. They have no criminal convictions. They have no criminal records. None. That immigrants commit far less crime than native-born Americans. So they won't listen to the facts. Anyways, these folks are still out here.
Okay. Few things that I see. Number one, this is all planned and orchestrated. Number two, the media, the left, Soros, etc., they are hoping that the system comes down on Don Lemon because then they have a new story. But when they get people who don't move unless they're paid, when they get people like a Don Lemon down on the scene, I want you to understand they expect it to explode. They're embedding their journalists as if it's war. That is not a random event of him being there. So the number one thing I take away is, why did Don go and get in the middle of this? And it's because somebody's planning for this to explode. So this is what we're going to discuss. We're going to discuss the Insurrection Act. What are the three main triggers? I showed you that footage because I think it's important you just understand from all different directions what's going on. You saw the city shut down. I could have even played a lot more. The police are almost at a standstill. So what this falls under is called U.S. Code 10, Chapter 10, Chapter 13. Not that you need to know all the digits, 251-255. And this is what allows the president to use federal troops or to federalize the National Guard. That is what the Insurrection Act is. Now, it has narrow circumstances. Okay? Narrow circumstances that have to apply. The main statutory is the exception to the Posse Comitatus Act. And what that means is it basically restricts the Army or the Air Force from doing domestic law enforcement. So the question is this domestic law enforcement, will it cross that line? Now, this does not automatically mean, and you need to understand this, it does not automatically mean martial law. The Insurrection Act does not equate to martial law. That is a different concept. It can be invoked by the Insurrection Act, but it does not replace or suspend the Constitution, the civilian Constitution. So what are the three main triggers? And there were a lot of triggers there, right? Even the triggers are getting triggered by the triggers. Okay. The triggers that can cause the Insurrection Act to come into play, number one is called state request. That's the most traditional path, that the state requested. That's the subsection 251. And it says if there's an insurrection against a state government, then the president may act upon the request of the state, or the governor if the legislators cannot convene. Now, the first thing you need to ask yourself, is Minnesota going to request President Trump to intervene? Well, as you can see, Minnesota's already fallen. Sorry, it ain't going to happen. The second trigger is the need to enforce federal law in order to suppress a rebellion against United States authority. That's subsection 252. Now, what it is it talks about unlawful obstructions or rebelling. Unlawful obstructions or rebellion. Now, this is why the media plays the role it does to keep up the facade that this is protesting. You see how they work hand in hand? It's that unholy trinity. This is why the media has to be on the ground, because the media has to keep on saying, even like you saw before, ironically, the city burning, and there's a mostly peaceful protest. This is the role the media plays. They want to keep the idea that these are protests, so they make the government the criminal. That's how it works. So the government, if in fact there is unlawful obstructions, rebellions that make it impractical for a state, wherever this is, to enforce federal law through the normal courts, that is what allows the president to step in and use militia, armed forces to enforce those laws in order to suppress a rebellion. So you have to understand, you've got to understand how critical the BS media is to this. Are you now recognizing why I told you it's always words? It's always words. And these people are not protesters. You are seeing the worst of the worst. Now, number 3 is called interference. Interference means that it is interfering with the operating of the city. It is depriving people of their rights, and therefore it is by default obstruction of federal laws. That's subsection 253. In that case, if there's violence, if there's insurrection, and more importantly, this is key, if there's conspiracy, this is really key because these people always make mistakes. When you see the mayor, the governor, Soros-paid people, and they're in the midst of this stoppage, suppression of rights and fights, you have government officials involved, bingo, you've got conspiracy. So to me, it shows that this is conspiracy from the beginning. So here it is. It's all based upon, does this hinder state and federal law so that people, meaning the common people, that's why I showed you the guy stuck in traffic. That's why I showed you the different views. Are these people deprived of their constitutional or legal protections? When these insurrectionists, which is what there are, stopping cars, pulling people out of cars, yanking people out of cars, well, you look like ICE, you have to ask the question, is it depriving the voters, the citizens, the common people of their constitutional rights and their legal protections? And the answer is yes. Now you have it combined with the state of authorities. You have to ask the question, are they unable, or did they fail, or did they refuse to protect the people? I'm telling you, if there are city officials, school board members, council people, mayors participating in this, they're all of them. They're not only unable, they're failing to do it because they willingly refuse to do it. They're not protecting the greater people. And so you have to look at this under the filter. Does this create obstruction and or oppression? And if that is in place, then in fact, the president can take measures he sees necessary, including using militia, armed forces to fix it. Now, what triggers this? The president hinted just a few days ago that he might use the Insurrection Act. There is a very specific legal step that I need you to be aware of. When you see this come down, then you're going to know firsthand it's about to hit the fan. Folks, what we're covering is I'm covering the Insurrection Act and the three main, let me get a drink as my voice is going. The three main triggers that are required. That's what I'm going through in this to explain it in terms of Minneapolis. Okay. Here is the trigger that has to fall that you need to be watching for. Okay? Procedurally, by law, this is subsection 254. President Trump must issue the procedural step of called a proclamation to disperse. Before the troops come in, the president has to issue a proclamation ordering that those involved disperse, and they've got a timeline to do it. I can't say for sure if that's been 100% perfected according to the rule of law, but that's what has to happen. Now, in order for this to be invoked in Minneapolis, the first thing they're going to ask is, have the predicates, right? Evelyn, quick question. Do you taste like honey? I'm hoping so. Here's my question. Here's my thing. You have to assess Minneapolis now. Has the predicate developed? Has the predicate developed? Now, I gave you all of the facts. I showed you the video. Put it in chat. Do you think these triggers have in fact occurred? Have these things happened? Why, yes, I do. I knew that. Do you think these things have happened? It's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? That's why I showed you that. I could have showed you more and more. I can show you video proof for each subsection, each instance. Okay? Period. The qualifier is there domestic violence and obstruction, and I think you can understand there is, yes. Now they have to decide, is there state coordination or is there state conflict? Is there state coordination or state conflict? Do you think the state of Minnesota, or even the city of Minneapolis, do you think they're going to willingly coordinate with the President of the United States? I don't. Which basically drops it to the next section. I believe the state's in conflict. That's the clarification for me. I believe the state is in conflict. Which means I do not feel that Minnesota's governor, Mr. Waltz, who's probably going to go down in a massive federal indictment, right? He's not going to do anything. No way. He's too deep in. The money's being exposed. He's got liability. All the lawmakers got liability. The city has liability. All the money that's been bleeding out of Minneapolis and Minnesota, boom. So there is not going to be any help from Tampon Town. It just is not going to happen. So the government is not going to trigger subsection 251. Now, what does that mean for the president? If the governor does not request, then the president, under subsection 252 and 253, those particular two, which I read to you, can go back. The president has full right, and it does not require the state's consent. Now, that's going to be something you're going to understand. You're going to have to understand, because if this happens, when it happens, they're going to tell you the state didn't agree to it. They're going to try to paint the administration as criminals. They're going to try to paint it as Gestapo and Nazi. It's all a bullshit ploy. And it is one subsection, 251, of 4 that direct this. And so when they start saying, well, the state didn't agree and the government didn't agree and you're here illegally, it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Now, our Department of Justice has to kind of walk a little bit on its toes. It's having to weigh the odds. No, this is different. This is not like a marauding army came through or just some people went bad. That's not what this is. Okay? And when I say it that way, not some people went bad, I'm separating the people from the government. Okay? The government's involved in this stuff here in a very, very, very serious way. And this is all, in many ways, being egged on. The battle that they're trying to assess, in my book, trying to understand what's going on, is how do they tiptoe around the fact that the local government's involved in this. And BLM is already calling for burning down the city all over again. Please remember, you don't get something like a George Floyd, same place. You don't get something like a George Floyd unless you got a totally corrupt government trying to make the United States of America, the presidency, and everything look bad. That's why this is the perfect shitstorm it is. So they're going to spend a lot of time really analyzing cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect to limit the liability. Now, what I want to see, and I don't think it's really come down yet, is I want to see President Trump make the formal proclamation, the true formal proclamation of stop, get out of the streets, stop interfering, you are obstructing justice, you are engaging in crime and violence, you've got 3 days, stand down, or all bets are off. Now, once the president issues that proclamation, in accordance with the proclamation, and I understand maybe some of this stuff is happening. I just haven't seen what I would consider the official proclamation. The president has the right under Title 10 to deploy active duty forces. Don't confuse active duty with National Guard. I'll get there in a minute. Once he makes the proclamation, then the president, under Title 10, can send in active duty Army and Marines, period. At the same time, the president can reach out to the National Guard, which is the state element. The president can then federalize the National Guard for a moment in time and put them under federal command of him as president and usurp the command in an ethical way of the governor. But they have the same chapter authority, period. That's what it is. All the president has to prove in this matter, and this is why I want you to be educated on it. Don't just be some nebulous, they're going to go to martial law or Insurrection Act. You've got to understand what these are designed to do. Because while they're on the streets protesting, saying they're protesters, saying it's safe, and saying it's against that President Trump's violating the Constitution, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. The president has a fiduciary duty as the president of the United States to protect federal personnel and property. A certain amount of property in Minneapolis is federal. In that, some of the strength it has is he has the right to secure key infrastructure and corridors. So let's kind of parse this out. When it comes to federal structures, well, the government, the president can protect federal structures. You obviously go, well, there's not a lot of federal structures compared to the city and the state structures. You're right. Where it comes in is they have the right to shut down and protect all key infrastructure and all key corridors. Key corridors is all transportation, all communication. This is where he can come in and we're protecting this highway and we're protecting these streets. And that's where, when these people continue to violate that, is where it codifies the president in, we had to come here to support federal law, but now we have to do the duty of law enforcement operations at the same time. Statistically, I don't think these people will disperse. I don't. And let me tell you why I don't think these people will disperse. Let me get a picture for you. Wait, here it is right here. Wait, no, that's not a picture. I'm going to show you why we more than likely will not see a disbursement if President Trump orders it. Here's why. Because this is part of a plan. I'm going to remind you of this. Barack Obama got 69 million popular votes his first term, 65 the second term. Hillary against Trump, 65 million. Of course, Biden, they said, got 81. That's the big FU finger. They said Kamala got 68. They've now raised Kamala to well over 75 million votes. And the election has been over for a very long time. That is the indicator of what's coming. Because combined with the GOP, combined with all of the fake crap of it's the machines, which are just misdemeanors, the system made sure there was no enforcement of the voter rolls and no enforcement of the paper. Why? Because come the midterms, they're laming President Trump. And they're going to bring him up on charges again to impeach him. This is the plan. They want to make it look like he illegally used the military to take over an American city to be a dictator. All of this time claiming he's a Nazi. All of this time claiming he's a fascist. All of this time saying he just wants to be a dictator. Here we are. We're at this point. This is it. We are at this point. And the system, in my book, has manufactured this moment in time. That is why you should be worried about someone like Don Lemon there. That is why you should be worried about this, because we're going to have a midterms and then boom, it's going to flip. And they are going to say, see, we told you he was a fascist. He was a dictator. He was trying to take over. He came in and tried to take over a state and a city. That's the plan. And we are here. Any of these troops on the ground, by the way, are still constrained by the Constitution and rule of engagement and use of force policies. None of that changes. None of that changes. So what possibly will happen, for me, I kind of see this plain as day. I told you, I looked you in the eye and I told you the truth. I told you the cost of believing people it's the machines. I told you the cost. I told you the cost of believing people, well, I infiltrated an Antifa call and they said they were going to rig it. It was all a play. Interesting, it's in the same state, don't you think? I told you this. The SAVE Act is nice, and the SAVE Act will do certain things. The SAVE Act will not stop what's coming. Because, as I told you about the SAVE Act, it has loopholes in the ID. You can still use a ID from a community college, a power bill, a cable bill, period. Oh, by the way, they still have the voter rolls packed, the ammos in the machine gun. This is the price that our country might pay for not just doing what was right and logical and playing favorites and believing people saying, oh, I'm godly this and I'm that. We have no proof, and not believing the proof in front of your eyes. They attacked us with the audit, not because we were wrong, but because we're right. They won't let you see the paper, so they'll let you screw with the machines, not because we were wrong about the ballots, but because we were right. And here it is. You can have a SAVE Act. Read the SAVE Act. It's a guideline. It's a suggestion which the state has the right to or not to accept. That's where you don't understand the difference between federal and state. If you want perfection in the SAVE Act, you define the ID, and then we have to have 2 elections for every election. And we have to have a separate federal freaking election, and then we have to have a separate state freaking election, which creates the loophole. Well, that's erroneous and cumbersome, and it will hurt, and the judge and the courts will stand up on that. You got to understand. Many times we think of all of this as federally. No, we have state elections. That's why every bit of this had to go, but you had to take the ammunition out of the gun. Because if the ammunition's in the gun, they're still going to pull it. They still have the power to do it. Counting by hands, even though the first thing Virginia governor did when she came in, as I hear up there in Virginia or across from Virginia, is that she said there will be no hand counting of ballots. Do you know why that is? Why do you think they outlawed hand counting of ballots? Most people don't even get it. It has nothing to do with the machines. It has everything to do with people getting their hands on the ballot and feeling and seeing and touching, and they're all freaking wrong. And they're not mail-ins, and they're not this, and they're mass printed. That's why no hand counts. Because what they can't afford is 1,000 people counting and 1,000 people testifying in court. Those weren't even the real ballots. Get it? It's always been about the paper. It always will be about the paper. And by the way, if you just took people at face value as the machines, what'd they do? Leave the fucking things running for 14 months? No, they did not. So what you can watch for if this happens is when President Trump does this, you're going to see staging areas, you're going to see vehicle convoys, and you're going to see visible military presence. I hear some of you upset with Mike Lindell going in. Yeah, Mike Lindell could be governor. Let me ask you a question. And I've thought long and hard about this, whether I should even do a show on it. You tell me if you want a whole show on it. Okay, you want a governor who can be conned by the CIA, because that's what happened with Dennis Montgomery. You want a governor who never asked for facts, just wants to get on TV. That's what happened with PCAPs. You want a governor that can get on TV and lie to you every day? He's got all the evidence, but when he gets to court, you find out he have none. That's Mike Lindell. So many people won't deal with facts. So many people will hate me for that statement right there. You don't want politicians that will lie to you in the face, rip you off, be a con, raise shitload of money, be on TV, and don't pay attention to details. But yet Mike Lindell's going to save us. Are you kidding me? And yes, you can hate me for that. That's totally fine. Because if you hate me for telling you the truth, you've already given up. You've already rolled over. You've already surrendered. Because if you can't understand the facts, let's just say Mike Lindell got taken by a CIA operation with this Dennis Montgomery guy. Well, isn't that an issue about his ability to ferret who's around him? His top election guy put forth a mathematical figure that has a 1 in 80 billion chance of being probable. He paid for him to be into 740 individual locations across the United States and preach that, and it's crap. Is that an error in judgment? And you want that as a governor? What makes you think people that are bad only come dressed like devils or are only on the left? At some time, we have to have accountability. I'll do a separate show on it. I'm not going to get on it. But anyway, expect staging areas, expect vehicle convoys, expect a visible military presence. And yes, some people say, you're being a traitor to Lindell. No. I told President Trump personally, banking the ballots was bullshit. Stop saying it. That's the president of the United States. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I don't discriminate. If it's wrong, and it's the wrong advice, and if it sets us up to fail, I'm going to call it out. You're going to see perimeters. They'll set up perimeters in Minneapolis, and you'll see checkpoints and traffic controls. This is what they have to do. Then it's going to become a job, right? A job. And somebody's saying, well, they had Code Monkey and they had all these people. Okay. Who do you think he's going to put on his fucking staff? If he couldn't choose the right people for election integrity, what the fuck is he going to choose to run the state? If he can be conned by the CIA, correct me if I'm wrong, don't we need governors, mayors that cannot be conned by the CIA or by the FBI? Isn't that what we need? It's simple logic, folks. And so what's going to happen is in Minneapolis, if and when this comes down, it's all going to be about enforcement operations and crowd control. Period. You may see DHS conduct some investigations. I call horseshit on that. We don't need investigations. The lawmakers there are standing in the midst of breaking down churches. That doesn't require an investigation. Is that really him? Well, let's get Bob. Bob, is this him? That's him. Hey, let's get Ronnie. Yeah, that's Tampon Tim. Do you need that shit? No, we don't need that. Now, what will happen if in a scenario like this, you will have troops. I showed you that guy stuck in traffic, couldn't get home. You got to think about, it's not only him stuck in traffic, it means ambulances stuck in traffic. It means X stuck in traffic. It means that stuck in traffic. It means they can't get people to hospitals. You'll basically see the military shoveling people back and forth, providing security, providing transport, and direct support to law enforcement, which is already taxed, already overwhelmed. Okay? Now, the catch. You ready? The fine line that has to be walked which is the fine line that the media is intentionally blurring, okay, is the First Amendment. You saw Don Lemon trying to keep on invoking First Amendment. That's going to be the fine line, because all of this has to be balanced with freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, all constitutional protections, due process, and warrant requirements. There you go. Why do these activists, okay, keep on fronting ICE saying, where's your warrant? You got to understand, they're being taught that for what's coming, because that only comes into play when the Insurrection Act is 100% invoked. That's why you need to understand all of this was pre-planned. They've already trained the citizens to say it. They have no idea why they're saying it, but they've already trained the citizens to do it. It's tough. It's tough. Now, President Trump can do this without the National Guard. There is some confusion here. Minnesota could invoke the National Guard. Probably won't. The Insurrection Act matters most when it comes to active duty troop. It's that fine line, is the line crossed where President Trump can federalize the National Guard. That's going to be one of the touch points. Okay? That's what we're going to have to watch. And then every one of you are going to have to understand this is not martial law. That's something different. And I'm going to warn you. The system wants martial law. I'm going to say it again. Eradicate martial law from your vocabulary. Everybody you see during this mess say martial law, correct them and say the Insurrection Act has nothing to do with martial law. Here's why. If the system ever got a hold of martial law, everything changes. No voting, confiscate guns, locked in your homes. We do not, under any scenario, want martial law. Period. So I'm asking you, if you want to understand what to do, understand how this works, rewatch this program if you have to, but eradicate right now martial law from your lexicon. If we get to that point, we are in deep doo-doo. This is about using the Constitution properly, making sure the Constitution is enforced, and restoring the rule of law. Martial law means there are no more laws. They get to remake them all. Do not allow people to engage in talking about this as martial law. It is not the same. This has been my review of the Insurrection Act. You understand the three main triggers. This is not to be taken lightly. A lot's playing out. You can see the play up, but the only thing that fixes this, there's only one thing that fixes everything. We get our damn elections right. And if we never get our elections right, it's all theater and it's all over. We are the only ones that can stop it. And that means we have to fight for truth, transparency, and fact. to do this correctly, to take back our country. I love you all. Share this program.
Our courts are based on clear and convincing evidence. Want convictions? Want justice? For what happened in the 2020 election? Then we need your help. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The decision you make in the next few moments could decide whether we ever get our elections fixed or not. Here's why. Trump campaign and allies filed 64 different lawsuits. They all went down in flames. 100% of these cases were presented on "it's the machines," or "the machines changed the votes," or "the voting company executive said he would make sure Donald J. Trump would not win." They all went down in flames. Why? You can't bring theories to court as evidence. No supposed Zoom call or six-degree polynomial math theory or census data is or ever will be proof of fraud. You can't bring theories to court as evidence. Here's why. In both civil and criminal law, the side making a claim carries the burden of proof, and prosecutors must prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Without physical or otherwise verifiable evidence, a case cannot meet this high threshold. Physical evidence is the key. The question is, did anyone get relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election? And the answer is yes, absolutely. The full forensic audit of Maricopa County, Arizona is the only evidence-gathering work which gathered relevant, reliable, provable, testable, and duplicatable evidence of what really happened in the 2020 general election. Evidence so damning that the system, the deep state, and those who pull the strings of this country have fought to keep it hidden and have hoped to have it be forgotten to time. Almost $3 million invested in time, funds, and efforts to unlock that which the system wanted hidden. But now, that evidence is in danger of being lost forever. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. With the 2026 midterms coming up, the system is going to try to lame duck President Trump and then most likely introduce new impeachment proceedings. This is the evidence which will help win the war which is surely to come. We need to keep Maricopa County full forensic investigation and archive secure and ongoing. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then we need your help. Please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We need your help securing the full forensic audit archives. Don't allow the only testable, objective, and reliable 2020 election evidence fall into obscurity. Millions were spent on getting it documented and tested. This is historic evidence. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County full forensic audit archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now. Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. Please donate now.